It's an absolute pain in the butt, that is. Hello and welcome back. Today it's head off time on the Ford 4000. We have come to the conclusion that the compression is absolutely rubbish and we've got to find out why. Pretty certain that the bores and the piston rings and the pistons are in good condition, because when we put oil in the bores and did the compression test, nothing changed, so the oil made no difference, which means that the pistons and the piston rings and the bores are sealing already. The oil didn't make any difference to that at all. The compression did not go up, it stayed at somewhere around 80 and 90 psi on number 1 and 2 and just short of 200 on number 3. So we've got to get the head off, we've got to check out this head gasket and check out the valves, see what we're going to find. So to get the head off of one of these engines, there's a few ancillaries to take off. We've got to get the power steering reservoir out of the way. We've got a bracket back here, which is the battery carrier bracket. This is all this here. We've got a bracket on the front, which is basically holding the radiator stays just here, and this side as well. It's bolted into the front of the head, so we've got to get that off. Probably got to take that little pipe off of there, because that's just a little breather pipe for the rocker cover. Clearly we've got to take out the injector pipes, but I'm hoping to leave both the inlet manifold on and also the exhaust manifold, because then they're good handles for lifting the head off. Because it's only a 3-cylinder, it's not very heavy, so hopefully I'll be able to do that myself. But once I've got the bracket off the front, power steering out the way, do something with this battery carrier, undo the rocker, get the rocker assembly out, undo the head bolts, pipes on the injectors, should be able to lift out. Let's see how we get on. Well, that wasn't doing a lot. It's broken at one end, and in fact it's broken at both ends. Still, who needs that? Maybe we'll have to repair that, I'm not sure. That's up to my buddy. He decides what he wants to do. Okay, now this bracket at this end, as you can tell, is all loose. So the bolts that hold this bracket onto the back of the cylinder head are between the tank and the cylinder head, and there's absolutely no way you get your fingers in there without taking the tank out. So it looks like someone's been here before and not reattached that bracket or the fuel tank to the head. That's not helpful, because eventually this is all going to work loose and break. But it is helpful to me because I haven't got to try and get the fuel tank out. But I guess normally to get one of these off, to get that bracket out, you've got to take that fuel tank off to get the bolts at the back. Can't see any other way at the moment of getting the battery tray out of the way, and that's going to be a pain because it's going to foul the inlet manifold. But hey ho, it is what it is. We've got the wiring out the way, we've got the bleed off pipe is sort of like up and out the way. Going to need new hose in there, it's all perished and knackered. We've got the bleed off pipe here, which is going to be also in the way, but I can probably manipulate that a little bit, because it's very difficult to get a spanner on the back of the pump to get this bleed off pipe out of the way. So I might be able to just bend that out of the way so it doesn't actually foul the head when I take the head off. Pretty much everything else is ready to come off. I don't think I need to sort the alternator out. I think the alternator is fixed to the block on the main bracket, but also the adjusting bracket I think is also fixed to the block. But if not, it's only one bolt on the top of the alternator. Got the power steering tank out the way. Can't get that top hose off at the moment, it just won't budge. It might be easier now I've got that. Oh, there we go. Now I've got that bracket out of the way, I've done it, so that's good. So that's that bit done. So rockers, fuel pipes. You can't really get these wrong, so I'm not going to worry about marking them. because they're shaped in such a way there's no other way they'll go on. They'll either go on correctly or they won't to the right injector. See what I'm saying? So because they're all very bent to a lovely shape, so they should just easily go back where they came from. The one at the back is the problem because it's difficult to get a spanner on it, but I'll persevere. There we go. That's a pig to get to, but as it's been off before, it shouldn't be too difficult to undo it. Now that's it, I've done it. But that number 1 injector pipe right at the back, utter pain in the neck to get on. Crikey, I've done it. There we go. Right, that's them off. Just give that a bit of a manipulation to get that over there a little way. If it breaks, it breaks. We can always make another one. Now it's the 4 rocker shaft nuts, then the head bolts. Always undo the rocker shaft a bit at a time, because otherwise the valve springs as they go up could easily bend the shaft. That's come loose now. So a quarter turn or something like that, that's all you need to do till everything's loose, which is what's happened now, and we're done. There we go. It should all just nicely lift off. There we go. Okay, right, I'm going to put these in order out of the way. I think it could do with an oil change as well. And we do exactly the same thing. Take the head nuts off in order, turn at a time, circular motion or circular direction. And then you won't warp the head. It's a windy day today, but it is lovely, beautiful spring day, sunny, warm. I mean, it's early April. It's absolutely gorgeous weather. We've had gorgeous weather for the last 2.5 weeks, maybe. We've got another week of it to come. Oh, I love it. This is what spring should be like. This time last year it did nothing but rain. My God, how much rain can one country get? Yeah, well, pretty much loose. Just gonna have to coax it up the studs, I think. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. I think I'm going to have to loosen these studs. It's catching on the studs, I'm pretty certain of it. I think, looking at them, it's this one and this one that are rusted in as a head. Right, that's moving. Right, all those studs now are turning. Yeah, they're all turning, so in theory maybe we can get the bar on and lever it up. Yes, well, it's moved a bit. Yes, it has, it's moved a bit. Can't get on at the back though.
Well, it's the next day, and my God, what a job. I've been doing mechanicking for the best part of 50 years, and I've always said that designers are the scourge of the service engineer, because designers design stuff, I think on purpose, to basically screw the guys that have got to fix it, screw them over. To get this head off, really, you need to take off this bracket here, because this bracket comes over the top of the cylinder head. This bracket holds the battery carrier, which is there, and you can't get to it because it's meant to be bolted into the back of the cylinder head. Between the fuel tank and the cylinder head there's a couple of bolts which are missing, so the whole thing is loose, as you can see. So I thought I could be able to move this out the way enough to be able to lift the cylinder head off the studs. Happy days, but not so. I got it up to the cylinder head, I got it up to the top lip of that bracket there, and of course there's half the stud was still half in. So what I've had to do, instead of taking off the fuel tank, which I'm probably going to do when we put it all back, I'm going to have to take all this off because it's going to be a right pain not to do it any other way, I think. But what I've had to do is I've had to screw out each stud, each of these cylinder head studs, a bit at a time, raise the head up, screw out the stud a bit more, raise the head up. And the reason being is because these studs, they won't come past the cylinder head because the threads that go into the block are larger than the holes. So as you can see, I'm pulling on the stud, it won't come up through the hole. So you can't take all the studs out in one go and then sort of like slide the head forward past the bracket and then lift it away. I've had to undo each stud at a time. So that's what I've been up to. I've double nutted each one and basically just undone them as I've gone along. I've got two left to do, these tall ones here for the rocker shaft. And every one of them now is free. They are, these ones here on the inlet manifold and injector side, they were coming up with red rust, dust, and in some cases what I think is soot coming out of the gap between the hole of the cylinder head for the bolt hole and the threaded stud itself. And I think I know what we're going to find when we get this head gasket off. I think this head gasket has been leaking, and I think it's been leaking up past these cylinder head bolts as well as other places, because these are completely and utterly stiff. I've had to WD-40 or engine oil down them trying to get them free because they've been all stiff to get up. Absolute pain in the neck. Made no better by an absolute rubbish design of that bracket there. For the sake of 3 inches, surely they could have done that better so you didn't have to take that off to get the cylinder head off, because to take that off you've got to take the fuel tank out. To take the fuel tank out you've got to take this scuttle panel off. To take the scuttle panel off, that is all one piece in the dash. You've got to take the steering wheel off. Maybe you can move this fuel tank back a bit, just enough to get your hands in to get the bolts out, but we don't know about that yet. All the wirings are pretty rough as well. That's absolute pants of wiring, look at that. Don't think that's ever going to work again. But we'll do what we can for Paul, my buddy's tractor, and I think that the cylinder head is not far off coming off. So wish me luck. Let's see how far I get now. There we go, she's off. Right, it's just a case of brute force and ignorance from now on. I've got plenty of ignorance, that's for sure. Not so much brute force these days, I'm getting old. This won't be too heavy because it's only a 3-cylinder, but it's going to be heavy enough. That's an absolute pain in the butt, that is. My God, that was a bit brutal. Well, as you can see, the cylinder head is off. This is that bracket that should be screwed to the back of the cylinder head. 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. By the look of all the dirt and the muck that's in those holes, that has not been screwed to that cylinder head for yonks. I thought I could unscrew this panel here and down here and take the whole lot out that way, sort of like away from the tank that way, but it turns out I can't. I don't know what else is holding it, but I mean, it's loose, but it wouldn't come. So I basically went back to plan A and used brute force and ignorance and managed to get it out that way. So I'm going to have a clean up, but I'm pretty certain I can see what the issue is. Top of the cylinder block, number 1, number 2, number 3. Quick check of the cylinder bores, all good. No scoring, no ridge that I can tell. Not particularly anything there in terms of ridge. This has actually had a replacement cylinder block at some point. So if you look down there, just down here, you could see it probably says New Holland, which means it's a modern cylinder block. It's also painted red and not blue. So it's had a cylinder block, and this cylinder block has not done a huge amount of work because there's hardly any ridge there at all. There's no scoring anywhere in those bores. Absolutely, there's no piston slap, no movement at all. Can't get it to move. So I think the block is good. But top of the cylinder block, this bit's nice and shiny. This bit's nice and shiny. So is this bit and this bit. But that bit there is black. And that bit there is also a bit black. And remember, cylinders 1 and 2 had about 80 or 90 psi. Cylinder number 3 had just short of 200 psi. And you can see here exactly what's been happening. This is the front of the engine. This is cylinder 1. This is cylinder 2. This is cylinder 3. A couple of things going on. All of this damage here to the head gasket is where I've been levering up underneath the head to get it off, so ignore that. That was me. Same at this end. I've done some of the same here, something like that. That's all me. That's fine. It was against the cylinder head gasket. It's not actually on the head itself, so I haven't damaged the head, I don't think, but I'll come on to that in a second. But clearly we can see absolutely that head gasket is absolute toast. There is the reason we have no compression. That has blown right through, and that's been blowing like that for quite some time. Now we did have some on the block, we did have some blackening on the cylinder block. Now this one hasn't blown through just here, but clearly it hasn't been sealing very well, so it could mean that the head is warped. But I think as it's off, and it is such a pain in the neck to get off, I think this has got to go away, be skimmed off, regrind seats, regrind valves, new cylinder head gasket, and we'll put it back on. I reckon that's where we're at, sir. So at least we now know it has all become crystal clear. Right, well that's that cylinder head stripped down, ready to go to the engine rebuilders. I'm not going to do it myself. I don't actually have a valve spring compressor that will go with enough throat to go around this cylinder head, and it's going to have to be skimmed anyway. So I think just do everything possible that I can. Let my buddy Paul know what's going on, what we're going to do next, and what we need to do. And I think skim of the head, get it all nice and flat, regrind the seats or inspect the seats, new seats if necessary, inspect the valves, new valves if necessary. If not, just regrind everything, new head gasket set with inlet gasket, exhaust gasket, all the bits and pieces, and we'll put the whole thing back together, get it all clean. I've got to take the fuel tank off to get it all back properly, because I want to put it back properly. That bracket at the back's got to go back nice and tight. So yeah, it's a case of do it properly, get the job done, and we'll have a running tractor again. May even do the wiring. Let's see how we go with that one. But our main aim is to get it started. So I don't know when that's going to be. That's going to be entirely up to Paul, because he's got to he'll get that all arranged to get it all into the engineers. They may have a backlog, so we may have to wait a few weeks to get it done. I've got plenty of stuff going on. So if you like what you see, I'm glad we've got to the bottom of what's actually the problem. Definitely the cylinder head, definitely the head gasket, possibly other things, but we're going to get it all done anyway because it's all off. Makes sense too, it's a no-brainer. So if you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber, because we're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, and that's getting really exciting. Nice to have a 4-figure subscriber count. That'd be really great if you can do that. Put a comment down if you want to make any comments. I think somebody did say they had exactly the same problem, and it was head gasket, and so it proves to be. And go back and check all the other videos just to see where we got to from this point, or go back from this point to see where this all started, and share to your friends, and let's get us out there and get Wheels of Interest on the radar of people in sheds fixing stuff and trying to save a bit of cash and enjoying it and having some fun on the way. Next stop is going to be the Ford Capri. And what does that mean? That means that we're going to take this Larry machine out on the road for the first time and see how she performs. So if you want to watch us do that, put the subscription down and you'll get notified when we're going to be coming up with the next video. And it proves to be, I think, a pretty eventful experience. So let's see what happens on the next one. Till the next time, I'll catch you then. Take care and bye for now.